we can learn a lot about life from this cute little $30 collectible. Hey guys, it's Derek, and for those of you who haven't had much exposure to social media in the last few months, this is a highly sought after, nearly impossible to get hold of collectible. She's called a Labubu, and it's part of a series of fantasy elves which was created by an artist in Hong Kong, and it's blown up all around the world because one person, one famous musician, pop singer from Korea, all she did was she put one of these on her bag and went out, and the whole world exploded. Everyone all of a sudden wanted one of these, and it's become one of the most sought after collectibles, as I said, in the world, and literally nobody can easily get hold of this, and it's led to a whole entire secondary market and also a huge market for fakes. And let me just talk about why this Labubu is a game changer. We all know with all fads, I'm just going to put Labubu on the side here for a minute, we all know with all fads that they don't last. It's like slime, it's like yo-yos, it's like Beanie Babies, all these things that mostly kids, but sometimes adults as well, get super obsessed with for a very short period of time, and it reaches a massive peak and all of a sudden starts to decline. And then 5-10 years later, you barely hear about them. And not only do you not hear about them, they're no longer collectible, and people who spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on a particular item way back right now find themselves in possession of an item, a collectible. It's hardly worth the price they would have paid if they paid the recommended retail price. And why is that? This has all to do with humanity. This is all to do with human psychology. You see, the reason why this character is so popular right now is not necessarily because she's cute and fluffy and has this kind of funny face and there's a story behind her, but one of the reasons why Labubus are so popular right now is because of their scarcity. The scarcity mindset does a lot of things to people. The thing that scarcity does to a person is kind of totally wild, and it's something that we all kind of understand. Some of us deny it because we feel like we don't want to, or we're not going to be the one that falls into the trap of fear of missing out, this whole FOMO thing, this desire to fit in with everybody else, and the desire just to, like, be honest, like flex a little bit because you're the one who got it and someone else didn't. I'm not saying that any of this is good, but it just leads to a whole new world of human psychology that I'm super interested in. You see, Labubus are super cute. I mean, I don't deny, like, when they first came out, I went, oh, this is the ugliest thing ever. But when you actually look at this Labubu, she's pretty cute. I don't even know how I got this Labubu, because one day a week or so ago I was in one of the Pop Mart stores in Sydney with one of my daughters. We were just looking around, and there's a big fat sign there that says Labubu sold out. We were just looking around for other things. We actually picked up a couple of other collectibles from Disney, which is something we like to collect anyhow. When we got to the counter, they just unveiled, or they just brought out a whole new box of these macaron Labubus, and I thought I'd just pick one up, and not thinking anything about it. I just thought, like, what's the big deal? Everyone says it's so hard to get, but here I am. I've just walked into a random Pop Mart on a Friday, nothing special about it, and there she is. So I picked one up and I opened it. In the macaron series, there's a set of 6 of different colors with different names, and then there's a special kind of limited edition surprise one, and I didn't think much about it. I got home, opened it, and this is the sesame seed Labubu. Apparently you can tell it's a Labubu because she has like pointy ears, she's got 9 teeth, and she has a head that rotates. They're kind of cute, but there has been, from what I can see on social media, and I did a little bit of doom scrolling since I got the Labubu, and I found out there's a huge demand for these things, and people are making TikToks over the place, and people queuing up outside vending machines, and people who are lining up at the mall at midnight on release day to try and get hold of one of these things. Part of this I feel is fun. It's like, if you're someone who is doing it purely for the enjoyment of it and for the love of collecting, and if you particularly like Labubus, I see actually nothing wrong with it. Yes, they are an expensive investment. For $30 for one of these, just for one, and most people can't stop at one. Most people want to collect the whole set, and you buy all these random stuff to go with it. But from my point of view, having an interest in certain collectibles, whether they be Labubus, whether they be Pokemon cards, anything that's collectible, they could be like old vintage toys, could be records, anything that is collectible, I actually think is a really nice passion to pursue, because we all need something that's fun in our lives. We all need a goal, a target, something that we can attain reasonably. That doesn't have anything to do with everyday life. So it's not a matter of just working and earning money to pay your bills. It's just something that you can do on the side that makes you look forward to getting up every morning. And I think that there is nothing wrong with that. There are people who go to the extremes and spend far too much money on these collectibles, and they pay far too much money. They actually spend money that needs to be better off spent on other things like bills, like health, like food and shelter for your family, and that's wrong. That's bad. But if you are financially capable of buying a couple of collectibles, I actually think that's a great thing, and I actually feel like I'm in a fortunate enough position that I can do this occasionally and not blow the bank. We all know these fads last a week or two, a month, a year, and they slowly disappear. Pretty much probably a few months down the track, Labubu is going to take her lonely place on a shelf somewhere, never to be touched, seen, played with, or spoken to, or spoken about again. But that's life. This is no different than going out and indulging yourself in a nice meal, which is a once and done, once off thing, just because it makes you feel better, and if you can afford it, then that's fine. There are other psychological factors involved in this, and I can tell you now, if you could buy Labubu everywhere and there was no competition, there was no like thrill of the chase, if you like to call it, I bet you half the people wouldn't collect these. And there certainly wouldn't be millions of videos on TikTok and Instagram about people who are chasing Labubus, because it's that scarcity that attracts people. And the law of supply and demand states that the less supply, the more psychologically there's demand for it. And there are people who make this 10 times stronger in terms of the intensity of it, because if you want something, you can't get hold of it. Some people will pay more money and they'll go to greater extremes to get hold of it, and that in turn drives up the price even further. Then people go, oh, this is normally $30, now it's $90 or something much bigger, so I'm going to jump in, I'm going to pay $90 for this. And then it becomes $120 and just escalates and then mounts, and it becomes something like a huge kind of critical mass thing where everyone wants it. Everyone wants to know about this whole mystique of having something that's so simple, yet has suddenly exploded out of proportion and becomes so popular and so in demand. And the fear of missing out makes people want to do really crazy things, like drive 4 hours to a place which might have stock, get up at 1 o'clock in the morning and queue up outside the mall, spend $100 on something that's only $30 recommended retail. And then there is these other people. There are people who are resellers, who are purely in it for a profit. Realistically, they're the ones that drive up the price. They're the ones who buy out the entire shop. They're the ones who queue up at the Pop Mart vending machines, and instead of just buying one or two for your own enjoyment, they buy the whole damn lot, so that other people who wanted to do it for their own enjoyment don't get to do it because they're always sold out. The one way of making things popular, the one way of getting demand, it's a human psychology thing, that the one way of making people want something is to put a big fat sold out sign. Same reason why people queue up for an iPhone, same reason why people line up for sneakers, same reason why people queue up for anything that's limited edition, is because of the feeling or the fear that you're not going to be able to get hold of one. Now, it's crazy to think this, but if you look at this Labubu, yes, she's cute. Yes, currently she's in a lot of demand, and yes, currently she's impossible to get. But there's nothing limited about this. The company Pop Mart, or whoever actually makes these monsters, have the ability, if they feel like it, to all of a sudden tomorrow make 1 million of these. They have the ability to make so many that anyone on this planet who wants one is capable of finding one and buying one, as long as they have the money to do so. But wait a second, but that takes away the entire thrill of the chase. That takes away the entire kind of fear of missing out aspect. And it's weird to say this, but if they made so many of these that you could just walk up to any shop at any minute and get one, people wouldn't get them. It's funny, but it makes business sense in a way. Yes, they could make, like I said, 1 million of these. There are certainly some of these that are in demand and they are limited. But still, like 1 out of, I don't know how many, I don't know what they say, the quote is like 1 out of every 72 boxes has a limited edition surprise Labubu, but at any time Pop Mart can decide that no longer is this going to be limited. We're just going to make more of them, and the whole limited nature, the whole demand, the whole price structure is gone. But they're not going to do that because it's a business thing. And as long as there's something that is hard to obtain, people are going to do whatever they have to obtain it. That's human nature. So now that we know why there's so much demand for Labubus, let's just look into this Labubu. This little ring up here helps you hang them to your bag when you go out. And you know, one of the weirdest things that I've read recently is that people are actually nicking these off people's bags while they're walking around. I mean, how crazy is that? And people are going to extraordinary lengths to secure these Labubis on their bags. They're putting double carabiners, they're putting locks and all sort of weird stuff so people don't steal them whilst it's hanging off a bag. How crazy is this? But anyway, there's become a new industry for Labubus also. There are protective cases, and I actually bought one. I'm going to open that for you in a sec. But you can also accessorize Labubus by buying outfits for them. So you can dress these guys up. You can put clothes on them. You can put accessories like glasses, hats, bags, shoes, all this kind of stuff. So this is crazy, as I said. I just want to show you what I got, because I don't even know why I did this. And this is it. This is all there is in this bag. Nothing else in this bag. And what it's designed to do is to protect your Labubu so that they don't get damaged, they don't get wet, they don't get dirty when you hang them off the bag. So this is basically a plastic case. It opens up, hopefully easily. Don't even know how it opens up. Is there a click thing? Or is there not? Can't even get it open. So it's taken me some effort, and I think I finally got him open. I've lost the little string things, come to these dangly bits, and it just rotates. Oh, it just opens like that. And what you do then is you put Labubu inside, and it comes with a little slit on the front, which I think is you slip this little tag through. So I think you're going to have to remove this little band for a second, and then you slip the little tag through this hole. I don't know if it's an orientation thing, whether there's a front or a back. This is crazy. Can't even work out how to get the Labubu into this thing. And the feet sits in there. And this is a perfect fit for your Labubu. You've got to get the right one for yours, because if you get the sitting down one, it's a different case. And then it clips on like that. Really, it clips on, and it somehow clicks on at the bottom, so you've got to get his feet in, and it clicks on, and it clicks on like that. And then you put this back on. Don't even know why our hands are shaking. And your Labubu, since it's inside this protective container, and now you can hang her off your bag, and if it rains, I guess it should be okay. There are gaps, because you need gaps, because you need Labubu to be able to breathe. You don't want her to suffocate in there, but she's an elf, so you don't really know how much air she needs. But it protects her from getting dirty, so you touch her with grotty hands, if there's a bit of mud goes on it, she's going to be well protected. I guess this thing you hang on here as well, but that's it. You can hang her on your bag and you can go out, and she's nicely snug. The weird thing about this whole thing, as I end this video, is that yesterday I went into the city and we were doing other stuff, and I went to the Pop Mart vending machine and also to the Pop Mart store, and they're sold out. So I reckon I properly fluked getting this Labubu the other day, and I think I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. I just happened to have arrived at the shop just as the shipment arrived and managed to get one of these, because otherwise I don't think if I actually thought about getting the second one yesterday, and I probably would have if they were available, but you can't get them. You actually can't. I've looked at some of the websites, and the thing about the websites is Pop Mart is sold out. If you look at things like Temu, if you look at stuff like AliExpress, you look at all these things, I feel like they're fake. There are certain ways apparently you can tell a real one from a fake one by scanning the QR code on the box, but you can fake that. And apparently if you light a UV light on her foot, there's a logo or something that appears, but you could probably fake that too. And just because they're $100 doesn't mean they're real. And people are just taking advantage, and this is one of the things that upsets me about collectibles. There are people out there who will purposely, for their own benefit, rip people off by selling them fakes. Like, I can understand the mindset of supply and demand, where if you bought something for $20 and you post it online for sale for $200, I'm okay with the fact that you do that, because it's a demand thing. And if there's somebody who's prepared to pay $200 for it, kudos to them, and mazel tov. However, the thing that I'm not happy about is the fact that you can do this stuff and put fakes on. The whole fake industry really bugs me, because not just for adults, there are kids who spend their hard-earned pocket money, their money that they get from walking their dog or working at the supermarket, and they actually spend their money thinking that they're going to get a legit product. And some of these kids really want some stuff, and whether it's a Labubu or whether it's a Charizard PSA 10 card, they are naive enough to not think about the possibility that you're spending all this money and you're actually going to get something fake. And that upsets me a lot. For a kid to earn, say, like I said, $100, they're working a lot of time, and you're going to have to wash a lot of cars, you're going to have to walk a lot of dogs to earn $100. And for them to get something that is fake because someone's taken advantage really pisses me off, and I hate it. This is one thing I really dislike about the collectibles industry, is the fact that there are people out there who are unscrupulous, who will put fake stuff. And one of the things that is important is we teach our children, and we figure out for ourselves how we can identify the difference between real and fake, because there's a big difference between buying something that's collectible and paying too much for it, but it's still being real, than being interested in collectibles and paying too much for it and then it turns out being fake. And that sucks, and it really bugs me. So to finish, let me know in the comments below if you've fallen to the craze of collecting Labubus, and whether you have overpaid, whether you've managed to actually get some, or you've just been walking around aimlessly and have struggled to get one, and whether you're prepared to pay $100 for a $30 collectible, and whether you've actually ever been scammed and actually bought something that you thought was real and that's actually hasn't been. Because I feel really bad if that's happened, because I'm sure it's happened to me before, and it's really upsetting, because you put your faith in humanity and sometimes humanity lets you down. 99% of people don't, but the 1% really piss me off. But anyway, thank you for watching. Enjoy your Labubus, enjoy your day, and I'll catch you next time in another video. Remember to like and subscribe. Bye.